Hello everybody and welcome back to Aurora 4X. I of course am Sir Beardian, and today we are going to continue the colonization of Sol, as well as the development of new technologies that will eventually become the backbone of our defense fleets. Because while having a population on Mars is all good and well, our capital, Australia, is the only one that actually doesn't care about its protection level. So as soon as Mars starts needing a protection level, it's going to start complaining. So we need to cut that off get ahead of the curve and cut that off real fast. We're just going to let it chug on its own construction factory production. Our capital is expanding nicely, which is good. What's the next thing to be built? That's going to be a construction factory. So, yeah, that's fine. We will keep letting that chug. Research lab there's a quarter of it left. So that's fine. We'll just wait to see how we get that done. We have mineral packets heading on. And we have a civilian mining colony on Irene. Let's go have a look at Irene. Irene, here we go. What do they have? 18,000 uranium, 800 carbamide, 360 boronide, and 7,000 magnesium, and 256 iridium. So it's going to be the uranium that's triggered it. It's up at 18,000. You know what? We're selling this one off, but I kind of want that little drop of magnesium there. Just get a little bit of... no, we got magnesium coming in from Mars. Yeah, they can keep that too. Don't care. Let's keep going. There's another one here, 2000 JG81. What's on here? 17,000 uranium. Yep, don't need that as either. They can have that. We'll accept the wealth in its place. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Earth is moving off ahead of Mars. So we're opening up that gap for the freighters to run through. Sal Bergman has increased his bonus. This guy. Awesome. So we're almost exactly a year away from completing our grab strength, which is good. How far off is our research lab? Almost there. That is excellent. Shipyard 1251 is at 50. Yep, we can leave it there. This one can go up another 10. There we go. That one's increasing. Perfect. There's our assignment run. Promotion run. And done. Okay. We now have another lab. So we're going to let sensors run. What else do we need for sensors? I don't know about sensors, but we do need... Let's go for... no, we're not going to need that yet. Energy weapons, not... We should ideally get some weapons, but... We could boost our construction rate a little bit faster. That would be significantly more useful at the moment. We are working on the terraforming module, but that can wait until after this is done. Construction. We should be working construction. Let's get ourselves... You know what? We're going to need a power mod. Yes, let's get power mod. We have a very high-end power guy, so we're going to work on that. It's going to take a while, but that's fine. We'll keep working. Okay, let's move along. Now, the reason why I'm taking power mod is that early on, engines are extremely weak. So in order to get decent speed and power out of an engine, you need to make it very, very large. The alternative is to increase the power mod. So with only the base power mod, we will have to make very, very large, heavy ships, which would be extremely inefficient and otherwise generally terrible. So that is why we're getting the high power mod. We are going to complement that by also getting the efficiency tech, this one here, because now it's very cheap, and getting that up is going to compensate for the increased fuel use. So we shall, how's that we're doing on construction? We almost have an extra naval yard. And there it is. Perfect. Get that underway. Research lab is at 86. We are working on more mines. Excellent. Our population is good for people. I'm considering moving about 1 million people over to Mars just to get that manufacturing up. And I think I will actually do that. They will also get a civilian scuttling as well. So load colonists and unload colonists. And we're going to do that 9 times. That will get about 1 million people over. And refuel. So that will move Mars from 0.6. Now we only have 0.8 supported, which means our civilians are going to start really scuttling across the infrastructure. So you'll see them start to really pick up in a moment. Yeah, there they go. Probably going to get overcrowding errors in a moment, unless the civilians are especially quick. No overcrowding errors. Or alerts, as the case may be. Interesting. I guess they are really on top of it. The low, the 3 freighters plus low colony cost would be probably helping that. It's also not very far away either, so they're able to they're probably able to ship infrastructure across really fast. There goes another lot. There we go. Okay, so we have now completed active grav sensor strength. Mars is up at 1.6 million. They're up at 7% manufacturing modifier, which is great. So they will be producing. They've got the stockpile of uranium and titanium, which is good. Well, they've got 1 factory out, up at 21 at the moment, so that's nice, I guess. Okay, but we have completed our grav sensor, so we can now actually start making active sensors, which is great. Beam fire control range is also another critical one, so we will be starting to work on that. So that is good and well. Terraforming, we are almost complete. Just a couple of weeks. That one's done. Good. We don't have to check up on it. Okay, 16. Now, you can do the math to figure out how much you're going to get, but alternatively, if you have a look, 19th of February is 16. Now, anything that completes within about 5 days is going to essentially complete in this production cycle. So it's currently the 19th. it's going to complete on the 22nd. Now that's only 3 days away. 5 days out is the 24th. So if we remove labs until, as long as this is underneath the 24th, so that'll actually probably finish on time. So we can actually put some labs in here. I'm going to focus on power for the moment. Let's run that and done. Okay. Perfect. We have our terraforming module. We are also, I think, going to get... the sector command will be great, but I don't know if it's going to be useful right this moment. We need... ugh, it's so hard early on. We need... hang on. We got nuclear thermal. Get nuclear pulse. Nuclear pulse will be useful. But we are working on the engine power mod. There's a lot of tech that we need to get missiles operational. I don't think that it will be worthwhile getting them immediately. I think the best thing right now would be to get a couple of early gunships. They're not going to be very useful, but they'll be useful enough to at least get some protection value out. So, but we don't have any energy weapon guy. Okay. So I guess we're going to go with the railgun. Okay. Okay, so we have terraforming module. We really do need to get an orbital hab module as well. Shift you out. Shift you in. Okay. It's not very good that we're spreading ourselves out so thin like this, but we need the labs, and until we get more labs, there's not really much else we can do. I mean, we can focus in, but it's fine. Okay, capacity has been increased. Yeah. How are we doing? Naval shipyards are on the way. Ah, we got a defensive guy. Excellent. We need an energy weapons guy though, but it's fine for now. Production factory is getting higher. Okay, we are now at 50,000 for our 3 civilians, and we have completed research into max power mod, which is excellent. We are now going to jump to 1.5 as soon as the efficiency modifier is done, and 1.5 will be reasonably enough early on. So that is going to be sufficient. So we'll let that chug. 1,000 tons added to this one. We'll add another 1,000. How are we doing? We really do need more construction. I'm going to shift 10 points into the construction to just get those out faster. Because the faster we get these out, the faster we can get everything else done. And you can see the dates shift every time an extra construction factory is done. What's the furthest one out? This one here, the mine. So 3rd of April down to 7th of August. So we get 9th of March. So we do get pretty reasonably significant savings in construction speed for every single construction factory we get out. So that is going to be very useful for us. both immediately and in the long run. So we get more construction factories. How is Mars doing? They're up at 22 now, so I guess that's alright. How is our minerals doing? Actually, how is Mars mineral doing? Stockpile is fine. The mass drive is mainly sending vendorite out, so are we? Yeah, we're sending a lot of vendorite back in. Let's make it 15,000 as our cutoff. So yeah, mass drive, they're basically just bouncing vendorite at each other at the moment. Now what we should be doing is having the least amount of well, we only have 2. Oh no, that's Mars. We should only have like 1 mass driver on Australia at a time. It should be the least on here because it's only sending out the occasional trickle of minerals. So it's not quite optimal. What might actually be more efficient if we just use the freighters instead of sending minerals out. So you know, yeah, I'm just going to cut off the mass driver on Australia, and I'm just going to send occasional freighters with minerals whenever Mars actually runs out. I think that's the best way to do it. And it is sending tiny little packets of neutronium and macassium, as well as iridium out as well. So that's good at least. We are getting a little bit of mineral trickle out of it. Okay. And of course, with population growth, our efficiency modifier is going to just keep going up. That'll slowly trickle in. Not a huge deal there. We are producing significantly more construction factories here as well. The other way that we could have done it is by just having the freighters occasionally ship construction factories out to Mars as it gets enough population to actually operate them, which I think we might do anyway, just as a matter of course. But we really do want to make Mars as sustainable as possible. Yeah, we got 1,000 capacity added. That one. Add another. How's our research doing? Railgun's almost done. Iridium on Irene has been exhausted. Well, there was hardly any of it anyway. Bornite's going to run out soon. You'll see here that the accessibility has dropped significantly. Because a large portion has been removed. It is proportional to how much has actually been dug out, which is why this one is at 1, but this one is at 0.25 because there was hardly anything in there anyway. Coma Solar, yeah, that's fine. Okay, how are we doing? The uranium is a little bit on the low side. We do need another source of uranium, which I might actually purchase from Coma Solar after all. We don't need the cobalt, but it is a good amount of uranium. And I mean, cobalt can't hurt. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to buy it from Coma Solar. So, purchase, send to Australia. Actually, we could send to Mars. I mean, it needs a source of uranium anyway. It doesn't need the cobalt, but it can just shunt it off as it goes. Shunt it off to Australia once it actually gets there. But the income of the uranium will help keep those levels up. We don't have a secondary source of titanium yet. That is going to come from Luna. And Venderite is somewhere. I'll figure it out. But yeah, so yeah, our stockpile of uranium is running out reasonably quickly. We are building more mines, but only a 10% production rate. So we're only getting like one every 10 weeks, which is not, well, maybe like closer to 11 weeks, which is not that great because we will run out if this keeps up. Yeah. Especially because as we build more, yeah, we're building mines faster, but we're also building everything else faster, so we're consuming more minerals faster. Let's add another 100 construction factories. Get that up a bit further. Railgun tech is done. Okay. What are we going to do with the railgun now? We want... That's all we need right this second. We have power propulsion for little engines, sensors and fire control. We need fire control. Actually, do we need fire control? We need distance rating tech. Okay, we do need one distance tech. Hang on. No, we're working on that now. Okay. We have active... Do we have power plant? Yeah, we've got power plant. I think we have pretty much everything we need to get a little railgun cutter out. So, yeah. We're just focusing on that at the moment. Oh, shit, we have 2 available labs. Oh, they just finished. Doi. Okay. We'll get that. We'll get this one out. We'll get the engine tech out. And as soon as these are done, we're going to shift to something else. Our next naval shipyard is almost done. Our next lab is done. So we're going to shift that into orbital halves because we do need to get that out sooner rather than later. 1,000-ton capacity added. Let's stick another 10. Is our intake. Okay, so there's the packet to Mars. So it's pretty quick. It only takes like 2 weeks to actually get there, which is fine. How much is actually in there though? 200 a year. That's really, really low. So there's like probably barely anything in those packets. Let's have a quick look. 2 Durania, 1 Corbomite. Ugh. That's nothing. I mean, it covers the production costs for Mars, but yeah, that's about it. JG81 has actually just been expanded. We now have 2 complexes in here compared to 1, so they've doubled their production output. But we're still... You know what? We can afford to buy it. We'll buy that too. And shunt it via Mars. It's like I said, it's still producing pathetically slow, but that's just because A, we have low tech, and B, actually, if we're buying, we should get somebody that can actually assist with the mining. So, civilian. If you're not planning on buying minerals, the best thing to do is to have no civilian administrator to improve the mining output, because the longer that it takes them to dig out the resources, the longer that they pay you in taxes. Alternatively, if you're buying the minerals, you want to get those minerals out as soon as possible so that you're paying them less. So, Charlie Blake, he's... you know what? Oh, the shipbuilding bonus might be worth here, but... Okay. we shall send you to JG81. I'm going to send Charlie Blake to Irene. There we go. Okay, so it's 5%, so it's not very much, but actually, does it increase? Oh no, we're not buying from Irene. We could be buying from Irene. Bugger it. We'll buy it all. We'll buy all the minerals. Okay. Civilian administrator. Mining bonus. Oliver or Nath? Nath is a good shipbuilding bonus. No, Olivia has a good shipbuilding bonus. Nath is a good everything else bonus. But we don't really need him for anything else. So, come a solar. There you go. Okay. And does it improve it? Yes. Fractionally. But it's fine. So we now have 3 mineral packets heading towards Mars. So we have JG81 is all the way out here, so that's going to take ages for the packets to actually arrive. There is Solar over here, and where's the other one? Up here. Okay, so yeah, they're going to take a little while. So 4 duranium in this one, 2 duranium in that one, and 2 duranium in that one. So not much duranium coming in individually, but we're getting about like 6 duranium per week once they actually start arriving. And that will be enough for Mars to actually start sending its own shipments out, because it's only using like 1 or 2 at a time. So that will keep us Mars supplied with duranium, and it'll ship any excess out as it comes in. So that is fine. Our duranium stockpile on Australia is starting to dwindle, mainly because of our massive increase in expenditure. Fuel consumption is done. Okay. Power mod 1.5 we are working on next. Do we still need that? Probably not as high. It's going to take a year. Beam fire control is going to be done way earlier than that. I think I want to shift more labs into orbital habs, because I want to get those orbital habs out ASAP. And I'll show you why once we actually get them out there. So we're going to finish off a beam fire control range. And the other thing I'm going to do is shift 1 out of that, and we're going to get mining production up. Get that underway, because we need to get that up to help compensate, because we are producing, we are increasing our production significantly faster than we are increasing our mining output. Aha! One of our naval shipyards is done. Perfect. Alright, we only got 1 left to go. That will help cut down how much we're actually, how much uranium we're using as well, in theory. Stick another 1,000. This is also eating a good amount of uranium, so we might actually slow down on this. We'll leave them on the slow side. 735, 730. So we're consuming about 5 per week at the moment. How much does Mars have? 1,000. So we are starting to see the trickle in, and I think I will drop the reserve level down to 1,000 as well, since we do have income. And that will start seeing uranium coming in. So about 8.4 per week, looks like, is heading out here. So 784, 786. Okay, so our stockpile is starting to climb now. 79. Yeah, so we are now starting to get an income of duranium. Now that we are... There is our fire control. Okay. I think it's about time that we make a little beam cutter. It's not going to be particularly useful or effective, I think, for actual combat, but it will help in keeping Mars suppressed. I might potentially just design it and not actually build it until Mars needs it, because I'm going to be making it small enough that it shouldn't take too long to actually build. It won't be super expensive. It won't take too long to build. And we do need to get a little bit more tech out before we can actually do it anyway, get those components researched. But for now, I'm going to shift the lab into mining production, and I'm going to shift one into orbital hab. Next research lab is a good while away. Construction factory is undergoing. We're almost finished with another academy. I might actually leave it at 3 total for now. We'll just wrap that up. Naval complex, we're already done. One important thing to remember is do not ever change the fractional, because the game will remember fractional factories. It won't use them, it won't show them, but it will remember them. So if you accidentally build 0.8 of a naval complex, you can complete it if you build another 0.2 of a complex, which you can actually do. However, you won't, if you cut it off at something like 0.92, there's nowhere that will actually tell you how much more you have to build to complete the complex. So it can be extremely difficult to actually realign the production values of your everything's. So try not to modify the fractional, only ever modify the front bit. Okay, labs are running, industry is running. We're just going to finish off the military academy, I think. How long is that going to take? December. Yeah, we'll finish off the military academy, and then we're going to call it a day. Is anything else going to be done around that time? I don't believe so. No, the next one out is the naval shipyard, but that's like 3 years out, so that's fine. And we'll have 10% that we can redistribute to other stuff as well. How's the science doing? It's doing well. That's going to finish soon. 834 to 836. So we don't have a profit of 2 at the moment. There's 1,000, but that will now start shifting up as well. 846 to 51. Yeah, so that's jumped up now that we're not spending it on naval shipyards. And there we go. Okay, we are now complete with our military academies. We do still have one more to go, but I'm going to do that one later once our industry is significantly improved. I want this done and out of my hair, so I'm going to modify that to use 5 more, get that done at half the time. So July 21st, that'll do. Naval shipyard, I'm going to shift this to 15, get that done on July 19, so about 1.5 years. And that will free up another 15 that we can then put into ground force trainings, get those done. Actually, how many? I only have 2. You know what? I'm going to shift this one down to 2 as well. Get that done earlier. We don't really need too many just yet. We don't really have any ground troops to build to begin with. So you know what? I'm just going to leave it at 3 total. There. That will free up a lot more industry. We can start working on more mines, more construction factories, more research labs, stuff that we actually need right this moment instead of stuff that we will need later. Snowball effect and all that. I keep talking about it. It keeps being accurate. Mars is up at 2.07 million. We are only 1/3 of a million short on our to fully staff our factories and mines. We are also up at 25 construction factories, so yay! We are good for minerals over here. We are building up a little bit of a stockpile for corundum, so we can start building mines. We can build one mine. Hooray! No, not even worth it. Or is it? It is. Yeah. Structure factory has built 10 of these. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So Mars is working. We are buying minerals from the civilians, so that is all well. And we are not doing too shabby right now. It is definitely difficult because we did do the semi-conventional start, but that is part of the game is, of course, doing that initial build-up, which you don't really get when you do a Transnewtonian start, because it gives you a lot of both technologies and buildings and stuff that you start off with, right? So the build-up is almost entirely skipped, and that's good. It's fine if you don't really care about that build-up, but that is just what it is. If you do like that aspect, that building up of your economy aspect, you do want to do either conventional or the semi-conventional that I did for this one. Okay. That is enough for this episode. So next episode, we will... next episode we're going to see if we can design a ship that runs on the 1.25 modifier, just a little cutter. If we can't get the engines happy enough, we will just have to wait for the power mod of 1.5. But that is what we're going to do. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode, where we will proceed with securing Sol, or starting to work on securing Sol, and proceeding on colonizing our solar system. So thank you, and see you then.